Om Jananim Sharadam Devim Ramakrishna Jagadgurum Pada Padme Tayo Sritva Pranamami Muhur Muhu. So we have entered into a very beautiful topic. Of course, whatever comes out of the mouth of Sri Ramakrishna is nothing but pure nectar from the Vedas. So we have been discussing visit to Vidyasagar. In our last class, Sri Ramakrishna had visited Vidyasagar and he was explaining about Brahman. What was he telling? What Brahman is can never be expressed. This is borne out by so many scriptural statements, also Shruti, Smriti, Nyaya, everything. Now I want to bring out some relevant incidents in the life of Sri Ramakrishna to make this one. In our last class, I have quoted in support of what Sri Ramakrishna had said, and before I go further, I want to just request you to keep something in mind. The more we study Sri Ramakrishna in the light of the scriptures, and the more we study the scriptures in the light of Sri Ramakrishna, then our understanding of Sri Ramakrishna will also become very wide and deep. So also our understanding of the scriptures also become wider. One of the reasons why God incarnates is to prove that every teaching of the Veda is absolute truth. That is very important for us because people go on claiming that we are devotees, we have faith in God, but very few people understand what they are talking about. Faith is called indirect knowledge. Many times we have dealt with this subject, but still it is worth dealing with it. So in Sanskrit, there is a beautiful word called Shraddha. No English translation can never be given excepting saying Shraddha. What is Shraddha? That which makes us do according to the faith like a ghost. Sri Ramakrishna often said that I never intended to practice any spiritual disciplines, but suddenly something possessed me and did not leave me. For 12 years, it made me go through. And this is exactly what Bhagavad Gita also tells. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. Now our point is that there are certain types of knowledge which we can get in this world, and certain type of knowledge we can never get through normal means of acquiring knowledge. So the means to acquire any type of knowledge is called pramana. For example, worldly knowledge can be obtained pratyaksha, direct experience. I see you, you see me. So no other proof is needed. This is called pratyaksha pramana. Pramana means proof. No doubt will be there. Of course, provided the mind is alert and it is not under the intoxication, neither is it entertaining lots of doubts and negative opinions, etc. Normal condition, this is how it happens. Then anumana, some type of knowledge cannot be obtained directly. For example, one night you go to bed and you wake up next morning and you open the window and you see that the whole street is flooded. Wherever you see, there is water. And even from the roofs, water is dripping now. Then what do you infer? You have not seen it raining at night, but you infer. This is called inference, and it is called anumana. This is also a pramana, but based upon an event that had actually taken place. There is no inference without some fact. Only we have not witnessed that fact, but subsequently, after the event takes place, we infer this must have happened. Or you see a car in wreck on the road and still smoking. An accident must have happened. We did not see the accident, but we infer. So, first is direct experience, called also pratyaksha pramana. Second is anumana. So, these are the two proofs for any worldly type of knowledge. But there is a third type of knowledge that is called shabda. It is called also shruti. That is to say, whether God exists, what happens after death, whether karma phala follows us or not. So, rebirth, what type of world we will be born into, and what type of life we are going to lead. All these things are closed book for all of us. The only thing we can do this is to go and rely upon the scriptures. That is called shabda. Shabda means usually word, sound. But here shabda has a special meaning. It means the teachings of the realized souls who confirm there is a God, He created this world, there are other worlds, and there are other types of lives, and at the same time that there is nothing called death. It is only a temporary manifestation of the unmanifest. So these we have to believe. And not only that, the scripture tells us if we do something wrong, then even nobody may know, but two people will know. Even the most heinous crime that anybody commits, the person who is committing, he knows it. And he can never forget it. This is what they call in English language conscience. He feels guilty inside. Many people do not experience that feeling of guilt, but at the same time, they cannot escape. Unconsciously it troubles them. That is why they run away, trying to forget it by drinking, dancing, whatever. Or if somebody has done something very good, what is called dharmika karma, and yet nobody knows about it. Very secretly he does it. But there is one who keeps a watch over all these things, sarvasakshi. That is why fire is called Jataveda. Everything that happens, he knows. So, this only the realized soul can tell. There is no death. We are all coming from God. Creation from God means we are coming from God. We have to go back to God. But how we conduct our life, that determines what is going to happen either immediately or later on in this life itself or in future births. This also we discussed. 3 types of karma phalas are there. You take a marigold seed and you sow it. Within 3 days you get a sprout, and within 1 month you get flowers. You sow a banyan seed. It may take 10 years even to become a moderately good tree, but it might live 500 years or 1000 years. So this is the result that comes in the future. But if I do something, either good or bad, exceptionally, the result may not come this life. So, a little bit of result will come. For example, a person wants to become a good musician. So he goes on practicing, he approaches a teacher, he learns it, he goes on practicing. Even if he has got the voice of a donkey, it doesn't matter. But slowly his voice will become a bit smoother. And then what happens? He learns. Theoretically, one can learn a lot, but the physical instrument must cooperate. But then, next birth, he will start exactly where he left. And because of his persistence, he might be born in a family full of musicians. And then his very body becomes much more pliable and what we call suitable for the practice of this music, or for that matter anything. Sometimes we get child prodigies. So he goes on improving, and then a time will come when he is born, is only waiting, even 2 years, even 3 years. We know some children, they are called child prodigies. So somebody can recognize all the Indian ragas. I don't know much about the Western music, but whether they have the concept of raga, I don't know about it. Probably not. Whereas Indians, they divided the whole time. And not only time, but also season. For example, midnight one raga, early morning, 3 o'clock another raga, 12 o'clock at noon another raga, evening another raga. Rainy season is called Mallar, or spring season, Vasanta raga. So rishis have studied deeply nature. But you see this child prodigy, he has become so expert, even from the very childhood. We see so many people, their what is called pitch is perfect, and their voice is so soothing, and their intellectual knowledge is unparalleled. These are called child prodigies. You must have heard about Mozart, or a great poet like Wordsworth, Shelley, Longfellow, Kalidasa, Bhavabhuti, etc., etc. Where from these people have come? It is the karma phala, what they practiced in the previous births, and not one birth, but many births. And in spiritual realm also, that is absolutely true. You see some people in the same family, Ramayana is a beautiful example. So one child born to the same parents is purely tamasic, eating and drinking, and another person extraordinarily active, Brahmanasura, and you can even say, in a way of speaking, Antichrist, that is anti-God, and there is one absolutely dedicated to dharma, to bhakti, represented by Vibhishana. So we see the samskaras, no physical, any amount of physical logic cannot explain how this is born in the same family, to the same parents, in the same social atmosphere, cannot explain it. So this is called Shabda. Now, we must have faith not only in the worldly knowledge, not only in the spiritual realm, but even in worldly experience also, worldly interaction also. We must have tremendous faith. Without faith, we cannot live for 1 second more. Maybe we see in the obituary column somebody had died, maybe young man, young woman, some accident, or somebody kills, as is happening practically every day of our life. So, does this person know what is going to happen? So, supposing you are traveling by bus, you have absolute faith that the driver of the bus is sober, not drinking, and he knows what he has got to do. So you are putting your faith in that driver. you are also putting the faith in the bus. So many times we see that a bus is going over the hills and valleys, and then something goes wrong, either with the driver or with the bus, brake failure, etc. Anything can happen. Next second, what happens, nobody knows. But it doesn't mean that there is no reason. Those who are, they have to suffer, they suffer. Those who have to die, they die. Those who have to live, they live. And sometimes, even in the most horrible accidents, nothing is going to happen. But no science can explain why these things happen. But we are talking about faith. Only in that context, I want you to understand that Shraddha doesn't mean only about God, spirituality, afterlife. Even in this world, we require tremendous amount of Shraddha. If a child is put into a school, a college, there is no guarantee that the child is going to pass brilliantly, that he is going to get a brilliant job. But all that he can say, I will do my best. Then according to what is called Karma Siddhanta, the person can get or may not get, or he may have to suffer whole life also. We do not know. So, what are we discussing so far? We are talking about what is called Shraddha. What is Shraddha? That is faith in things which we have never experienced. But at the same time, a person who experiences tells us, so we have Shraddha, faith, in the person who tells us. And then we have faith, I know this person, he is reliable, he will never tell knowingly. First, he doesn't tell what is untruth. Secondly, he never tells what is harmful, injurious to me. He loves me and he wishes my welfare. So he tells me what is good for me. That acting on that faith, so it is absolute truth, as if I know it directly, but only Shraddha indicates indirect. That indirect faith with which we start. And even to have that indirect faith cannot come simply by deciding. It comes only as a result of great punyam. So if we have done for past many lives, and we see sometimes, this is very surprising, should not be surprising, but appears to be surprising. Here is a person, and he appears to be absolutely normal, like any other worldly youth, and he is making extraordinarily good plans to get married. Suddenly, something possesses him, and he renounces the whole thing, runs away as it were, and takes to sannyasa, life of sannyasa. Or here is another person. He is just a normal type of person. One day suddenly he has an extraordinary experience. He had never any teacher, any guru, but this goes on and on. So suddenly he becomes an enlightened person. Well, for example, Ramana Maharshi. So everything depends upon our past karma also, but we must have faith in the scriptures. That is very important. And what is the scripture telling? The scripture is telling that merely claiming that I have got faith, that is what billions of people claim. We are religious people. That means we believe in a God. And so many varieties of these religious feelings are there. Most prominent is called fanaticism. How stupid people can be. That we all believe in God, but God has created some people. He has got partiality. He created people, what is called, very partially. Some people, he makes them powerful, rich, beautiful, strong, and able to rule. some people slaves, and he creates animals only to be sacrificed, only to suffer. So he creates even the human beings also. Some other religions should never be accepted as God's creation. All sorts of fanaticism we will see. But our important point here is that can we talk about God? That is a very important point. Especially, can we talk about Brahman? We cannot talk about Saguna Brahma. We cannot talk much less about Nirguna Brahma. This is very important. That is why in the very first chapter of the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, when M himself encounters Sri Ramakrishna, and then M tries to advise Sri Ramakrishna that people should be taught they should not worship idols. Just look at the temerity of this person. He understood and he expressed, albeit unconsciously. Here is where it looks as though Shukadeva himself is teaching Raja Parikshit. That means a Sadguru is teaching a Satsishya. That was his unconscious impression. And now reason takes over. And then he goes to argue. And there are so many very important points we had already discussed. And his M's idea about what is called knowledge. So when Sri Ramakrishna asked what type of wife, said, I am afraid she is a good person, but I am afraid that she is ignorant. Now the first very idea is, what is your measurement of what is called goodness? He is telling two contradictory opinions. First he says good. We also say this person is a good person. What do we mean by when we say he is a good person? The person who gives me happiness is a good person, however wicked he is or she is. And the person who will bring me only unhappiness, but this is the universal concept of what is called goodness. Even the child of a robber or a gang leader, mafia, for them, oh, my dad is such a loving person. And mummy, you are the best mummy in the whole world. Just because she gives me chocolates or cakes or ice cream, etc., etc. This is our concept of goodness. Not to speak of what is ignorance. Sri Ramakrishna never speaks from the worldly point of view. So he only, even if he speaks about the world, he is only speaking from the viewpoint of the scriptures, never from a worldly point of view. So Sri Ramakrishna had disillusioned M, and then we have discussed already, is God with form or without form? Who is questioning? Who? That means our talking about God itself is illegal actually, because we have never seen God. And for that also there is a beautiful incident. Sri Ramakrishna himself narrates. There was a great Pandit. I think his name was Pandit Gauri, and he was the court Pandit of Bardwan. And at that time there was a terrible religious quarrel between the Vaishnavas and Shaivas. So who is great, Shiva or Vishnu? And then nobody could prove. They were all trying to quote scriptures and prove who is great. Of course, scriptures who are extolling Shiva will extol that Vishnu is, practically from their view, Vishnu is an idiot, a stupid fellow. He doesn't know what to do. He does things which even an ordinary person doesn't do. And vice versa. So they could not, of course, decide what to do. Then this court Pandit, well respected, they asked him, oh, what is your opinion? And this Pandit seems to be extraordinarily intelligent. And then he replied, look, so far as I know, my 14 generations have neither seen Vishnu nor seen Shiva. Very interesting topic. So supposing one among the 14 generations have seen only Shiva or seen only Vishnu, will he be able to decide? Because if we want to judge two things, we must have knowledge of both the things. Simply having knowledge of one thing will not do. So this idea appealed to everybody that it is useless to talk about God without seeing Him, and it is impossible to talk about God after seeing Him. Why is it? Because if we have to talk about it, we have to think about it. And our mind is absolutely limited. Our words are limited. So both will not function at all. This is what is being said here. So Brahman, what Brahman is, nobody could describe. And at another place, Ramakrishna says, and all our devotees must have remembered that one, because if you read without remembering, it's completely useless. So there is what is called, this question came, what is Brahman? And Sri Ramakrishna, as usual, gave a illustrated it with a beautiful incident. We don't get it anywhere. At least I have not got it anywhere. He says, oh, Shukadeva only looked at it. Shankaracharya only looked at it. I think not Shankara. I forget somebody. Narada perhaps. So Narada saw it from a distance and became unconscious. And Shukadeva touched the water, the ocean of Brahman, and became unconscious. Only Shiva had just taken a thimbleful of that ocean of Brahman, Brahmasagara, and he became unconscious. Now who is going to tell? Sri Ramakrishna is going to illustrate this one. And this has been exactly the idea that has been described in our last class. That is where we have stopped. I have quoted Taittiriya Upanishad. Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha. Unable to think and much less to express both the mind and speech. That means they cannot talk anything about it. And then in the end we have seen Ubhehe Veshayete Atmanam Sprunute. So Sukha and Dukkha, both happiness and unhappiness. So Papa and Punya, Dharma and Adharma, they are also manifestation of Atman only. Such an extraordinary idea. What? Even Papam, called what is called sinfulness, is also an expression of Atman, of course. But to understand it, we have to rise above this worldly reasoning. Suppose you are watching a cinema, there is a villain. Villain means always a wicked fellow, a dharmic fellow, and he is trying in all his ways to kill or to harm or to maim this hero who represents dharma, heroism and courage and skillfulness, etc., etc. Because even if somebody is a hero and is a stupid fellow, it is not going to work out. So many so-called heroes are zeros. There is nothing. But we enjoy both. Why? Because we know it is all for entertainment, anandam. Hero should, if he played his part, should give us anandam. Villain, he should give, I think, even more anandam than even heroes. And heroine, this is the subject all the time. Good and the fight between good and evil, Kurukshetram, between Pandavas and Kauravas, etc., etc. That is what Taittiriya Upanishad wants to say. Ubehi eva esha ete atmanam sprunute. Ube means what? So most of us say, I should have done that, I have not done that. I should not have done that, but I have done that. What should be done, I have not done. And what should not be done, I have done. This guilty conscience, in case of both, and we suffer from them, especially after 60 years, When a person looks back, I should have done this and that, and so many things happen. But when a person realizes God, both these he understands. This is all a Leela. The whole world, Srishti is a Leela, Sthiti is a Leela, and of course Laya. That is also Srishti, Sthiti and Laya. All these are nothing but the divine playing with whom? It is not cat and mouse play. The cat also is Brahman and the mouse also is Brahman. And how does it happen? And this is, of course, I'm making a little bit of fun. So in this life, the cat tortures the mouse, rat. And then in the next life, the rat becomes the cat and the cat becomes the mouse. And then this play is going on. Both, it is nothing but a divine play, beautifully called Leela or Rasa. In Vaishnavism, we have this, especially in the Bengali Vaishnavism, there is something called Viraha and Milana. That is separation and union. The whole burden of Vaishnava Padavali is only this Radha and Krishna. Radha represents, in the beginning, Radha and Krishna represent Viraha. They are not able to come together. They are not able to unite. But in the end, somehow they unite together. So this Leela, after unity, what happens? Again separation will come. So this is called, one is called Srishti, another is called Laya. So the Nirguna Brahma is where for some time it remains. So this Leela goes on and on and on. That is why it is said Srishti is Anadi. That means Leela is Anadi. So Sri Ramakrishna was telling what Brahman is. Nobody was able to tell about it. But the word uttered by Sri Ramakrishna himself, has it come from? Even if you are talking negatively about somebody, is it not a description? No, we have to understand that Brahman is indescribable. That is not a description. That is only telling the truth. I am not able to know. We will never be able to know. A limited instrument can never know the unlimited. It is only within the realm. We are not talking about Brahman. We are talking about our thoughts about Brahman, our concept of Brahman. This is one of the most important points we have to understand. Let there be 100 schools of philosophy, Advaita, Dvaita, Advaita. Do you know that even among the Advaita, there are so many schools are there. So there is what is called Bhattamata is there. Then there is schools of difference between the disciples of Shankaracharya himself. So one interprets Advaita teachings in one way, another person interprets another way, because this is according to the people. So what is the point I am making? The point is, we cannot talk about God because we don't know about God. But that should not lead us to think, should we never talk about God? Should we never read about God? The point is, we must have faith that there is God and we are coming from Him. And because we are coming, He is our father and mother. So because He is our father and mother, so we are His children. And the same nature, the children also will have. Karya will have the same nature of the Karana. That is very important. If God is divine, we are also divine. We cannot be anything. Anything made out of gold must be only gold. To think otherwise, Vacharambhanam vikaro namadheyam. This is an ornament, and forget the gold, only remember the name and form, and that is stupidity par excellence. So Advaita Vedanta wants to talk. What I want to tell here is that human mind is incapable of thinking about what is the truth about God. True nature of God, there is only one way. That is, you can become God, but you cannot describe God. You cannot even think about God. The word description always brings before our eyes one person trying to tell to another person. No, even within ourselves, if we are talking, oh, can Brahman be like this? Can Brahman be like that? And this is also a description. Only we are talking to ourselves. That is an impossibility. Where the mind works, that is not Brahman. But a purified mind can point out the right way, like a signboard. And in Sanskrit, this is called Arundhati Nyaya. That is a signboard. So you want to go to the temple, so you go this way and you will get the temple. Or in the airports, this is hall number so much. So you are going to depart, gate number. You proceed this way, gates 1, 2, 3, like that. Pointer. But that is not the reality. You have to go actually to the place. Once we reach, then we can never, there is nobody to describe because there is no second one. And this is what Sri Ramakrishna is telling. Nobody had succeeded because the limited can never describe the unlimited. And then Vidyasagar, very sharp, he studied Vedanta, he studied grammar, he studied Sahitya, and this Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, Swami Vivekananda used to talk about him and say, the greatest man that I have most tremendous reverence is Vidyasagar. And any Indian who doesn't know the basic facts about this Ishwar, persons like Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, I would say he is a traitor. He is not to be called an Indian at all. We must know about our rishis, about our saints, about our great people. Not only the spiritual people, but great people. Greatness is common to everybody. Great musician, great artist, great poet, great writer, great administrator. Greatness belongs to spirituality. Where there is absence of spirituality, greatness will not be there. Only 15 minutes fame will be there. Nothing else will be there. That is why one person had enlightened me almost 50 years back, 60 years back. So I read this article in one of our magazines. Anything that is enduring must be related with spirituality. Great architecture, great sculpting, great music, great writing, Sahitya, anything great which is ever enduring must be spiritual. That is why Vedas, Upanishads, Bible, Quran, our Bhagavatam, Ramayana, they are eternal because they are deeply related with spirituality. Not to speak of even our Upanishads here. This is what Sri Ramakrishna was. In a way, he is talking about what the Taittiriya Upanishad, and not only Taittiriya Upanishad, that is what Yajnavalkya has also taught to some of the other Pandits. Sa neti neti hovacha. Neti neti. That means it cannot be thought about it at all. So naiti, whatever we know, it is not there. And that also Sri Ramakrishna illustrates. Once a servant wanted to wake up his master, entered into a room which is full of darkness. He did not know. And then he went on touching, this is not my master, this is not my master. And finally, when he progressed further and touched the master, then he knows, this is the master. What is the point of the story? That at first, whatever we know, that has to be denied. that this is not Brahman. But that should never give us the idea that it is not Brahman. We should not say, so our body is not Brahman, our mind is not Brahman, this world is not Brahman. There can be nothing further from truth. What does it mean? That means what I am seeing, hearing, etc. Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. But it is not, my knowledge is not complete knowledge of Brahman. It is only the existence part of Brahman, and a bit of knowledge about Brahman is what is called a partial knowledge of Brahman. Neti Neti doesn't mean there is something else existing other than Brahman. Everything is nothing but existence, knowledge, and bliss only. So, what happens at the end of the Neti Neti? Once a person reaches only through this method, what remains? This is not Brahman because I am experiencing it. So, when I do not know what I can experience, that is all not Brahman. What remains? That is the instrument through which we are negating everything. That final instrument itself has to be that also is not Brahman. That means the I-ness completely becomes merged. Human words again, transactional words in Brahman. And I know what is Brahman. I am Brahman. Then starts the journey back. Iti. After Neti Neti, Iti. This is Brahman. I am Brahman is called, this is Brahman. So the first part of the negation is not to say there is something other than Brahman, other than God, but this is only a very limited, finite conception of God. That is what we have to understand the scriptures properly. For that, I am quoting this one. Sri Ramakrishna, he heard a lot. Did he hear Upanishads? Absolutely. And he said, I cannot speak Sanskrit, I cannot read or write Sanskrit. Perhaps he can read, but I can understand every word. I have heard so many Pandits. And we forget sometimes Ramakrishna is illiterate. He was not illiterate. He has not gone formally to school. The whole nature itself has enlightened him. Like Satyakama Jabala, he was enlightened by nature in the form of a bull, in the form of a fire, and in the form of two birds. And by the time he returned to his guru, he was a fully illumined soul. And this was one of the stories of Swami Vivekananda. And he used to say, knowledge is inherent as our very nature. What is necessary is an occasion. Just like fire is always in the firewood, but friction is necessary to bring it out. So a guru is a friction. A matchstick is a friction. So every event, every experience is a friction to bring out knowledge. Every experience. Then we understand something. That is an important part. So Sri Ramakrishna's words are, why did I speak so much about this? Sri Ramakrishna's words are nothing but pure scriptures, and we have to understand them in the proper way. Having heard from Sri Ramakrishna's mouth, is Vidyasagar, who must have read all these things much earlier. He said, oh, that is a remarkable statement. I have learned something new today. Then Sri Ramakrishna is very often compared to Kalidasa. What is Kalidasa's speciality? The great poet Kalidasa, very important for us to understand. The very name, Kali is Dasa, that is a child of Kali, or he who has obtained the grace of Kali. Kali means Divine Mother, and only she is manifesting through this instrumentality, which we call Kalidasa. Mother Saraswati herself is manifesting. This is the conception that everything is God. So you see, wherever you see greatness, that greatness is only a partial manifestation of God. Adyad vibhuti matsattvam srimadurjitam evava tattadeva avagachatvam mama tejo amsha sambhavam. Everything is manifestation of God. Sarvam khalvidam brahma. To understand this one, we have to go on negating. What negating? This is only partial Brahman. This is also partial Brahman. The waking is partial. The dreaming is partial. The deep sleep is partial. If we go on persisting, and then one day we ourselves, like pole jumper, that is a beautiful illustration. So neti neti, that is, I must rise to that height. That is the first neti. Then having risen to that height near the pole, then the very pole that had helped me to rise to that height must be thrown back, and then we jump over. That jumping over is called Brahmanubhuti. I am just illustrating with this pole jumper's condition. So after first neti is to take up one thought and then negate all other thoughts. The second, that very first thought with which we negated all the other thoughts, we must transcend that one also. Then only we get over the limitation. And Sri Ramakrishna is illustrating. So there is a saying, Upama Kalidasasya Bharavehe Arthagauravam Dandinaha Padalalityam Maghe Sandhi Trayo Gunaha. Therefore, what is called ancient poets, that is most refutable, what is irrefutable, or most famous poets, Bana, Magha, Dandi. So each was famous for some speciality in literature. But Kalidasa is famous for similes. Upama, not Upma. Upama Kalidasasya. Ramakrishna perhaps surpasses, not really, is equivalent to Kalidasa to illustrate. So he is going to illustrate. And this also of parallels in the Upanishads, which we will come to. Master, a man had two sons. The father sent them to a preceptor to learn the knowledge of Brahman. After a few years, they returned from their preceptor's house and bowed low before their father. So we assume that they must have obtained knowledge of Brahman. And the father, wanting to measure the depth of their knowledge of Brahman, he first questioned the elder of the two boys, my child, you have studied all the scriptures. Now tell me, what is the nature of Brahman? And the boy began to explain Brahman by reciting various texts from the Vedas. And the father did not say anything. Why did he not say anything? Because the boy at least had learned that he had an intellectual conception of what Brahman is not like. Not only, not to speak, what is Brahman is like. That can be had only, so what is called Swarupa Lakshana, Dhyana. But Tatastha Lakshana, Srishti Sthiti Laya, Janmadhyasya Yataha, as the Brahma Sutras explain. So he went on quoting various texts, and this is what I understood, and the father appreciated definitely, but that is not the true wisdom. This is the difference between knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge is information. Wisdom is to use it at the right time, in the right way, and make one's life blissful. That is called wisdom. Then he asked the younger son the same question. But the boy remained silent and stood with eyes cast down. What a beautiful description. No word escaped his lips. Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha. The father was pleased and said to him, my child, you have understood a little of Brahman. Very interesting. As far as I am concerned, I am sharing only my thoughts with you. When the father heard means this person did not say anything. Why did he not say anything? Because Brahman is indescribable. He must have studied all this, understood them properly. Even that I understood Brahman is indescribable is also a thought. What Brahman is cannot be expressed in words. But the father appreciated him better than the elder son. My child, you have understood a little of Brahman. So, what Brahman is cannot be expressed in words, not even in thoughts. Because remember, what are words? Silent words are called thoughts, and loud thoughts are called words. Many times, we know that there is nobody, we are not talking to anybody else. But all the time, this monkey chatter is going on within our minds 24 hours a day. Is it going on in the deep sleep? I don't know. You ask yourself that question. So, this is what he is telling. Sri Ramakrishna's interaction with, so here is something I am going to tell. Sri Ramakrishna elsewhere in the gospel is telling about rishis like Jadabharata, Dattatreya and Shukadeva, all knowers of Brahman. After realizing Brahman, Jadabharata and Dattatreya could give no information about it. Once I consciousness vanishes after passing into Samadhi, after attaining the knowledge of Brahman. So, Ram Prasad says, if you cannot attain the knowledge of Brahman yourself, O mind, take Ram Prasad with you. This is again a very interesting question. When we are reading from the gospel, this kind of sentences, and this happens to be visited to Vidyasagar, we have to connect. There is a link there. What is the link? There is a beautiful song. So, Monre Krishi Kas Janona Amon Manav Jamin. That is, O mind, you do not know how to cultivate this field. Fallow lies your field. You have the land, but you are not cultivating this field. If only you had cultivated, you would have gathered all the 4 fruits of life. What are the 4 fruits? Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha. Everything you would have obtained. Both Shreyas, not only prayers, but also Shreyas. But it cannot be explained. So, if you cannot attain, you do everything. What do you need to do? O mind, take Ram Prasad with you. That is to say, how can Ram Prasad help? So, if Ram Prasad cannot reach Brahman, then who is the second Ram Prasad? That is, surrender yourself to God. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. And this is what Sri Ramakrishna is telling. The mind must dissolve. This is called taking Ram Prasad. And Sri Ramakrishna illustrates it very beautifully. We will come to that. After that, Ram Prasad. See, look here. This is the interpretation of Sri Ramakrishna of that particular song, that Ekajyodi Naparish Mon. If you are not able to gather all the harvest, then Ram Prasad ke sange niyo. You take Ram Prasad. What is this Ram Prasad? Sri Ramakrishna's interpretation. That is the ego. Ego must merge. Merge where? Merge into Brahman. Only then does one attain knowledge of Brahman. The 2 things are implied here. One is Sharanagati means complete annihilation of the limitation. When the limitation is removed, what remains is the unlimited. That is why it is said, when we obtain any type of knowledge, and we remain separate, knowledge remains separate, the object of knowledge remains also separate, the instrument through which we have obtained that knowledge, this is called Triputi Karana. The knower, the object of knowledge, the instrument of obtaining knowledge, and the resultant knowledge. All these will remain completely separate from each other. But when the same person obtains the knowledge of Brahman, what is that? Merges in Brahman. Then what remains? I am not there. And does Brahman there? That also only in human words, that alone remains. This is the meaning of Yato Vacho Nivartante Aprapya Manasasa. Ram Prasad, according to Sri Ramakrishna's interpretation, is the ego which is cultivating dharma, artha and kama. But for moksha, he should completely merge in Bhagavan. There is no other way. Only then Brahmavid Brahma Eva Bhavati. Then a devotee asks, sir, did not Shukadeva attain ultimate knowledge? Ramakrishna. Some say that Shukadeva only saw and touched the ocean of Brahman, but did not dive deep into it. That's why he could return and impart spiritual instruction. According to others, he returned after attaining the knowledge of Brahman in order to teach mankind. He had to narrate the Bhagavatam to Parikshit and also teach people in various ways. So God did not merge his eye altogether. His eye of knowledge was retained. So there is a beautiful incident. Today's class I will just indicate before we proceed further. This incident is clearly mentioned by Swami Dayatmanandaji in his Great Master. One day, Ramakrishna told to some of his would-be sannyasin disciples, today I will unravel everything and I will describe what happens. So when the Kundalini had attained the Anahata Chakra, I see everything brilliantly shining like light, every object in this world. And then when it goes to the Kantadesha, that is what is called, there is at the throat center, it is called Vishuddha. And then is much further experience is there. Then further it reaches in between the eyebrows, it is called Agnya Chakra. And then there is only a thin partition between God and myself, like there is a hurricane lantern, very thin glass is there, but the glass itself is not visible, but that borderline is there. So if a moth wants to fall into that, it will never succeed. It will only strike against the glass and it falls down. And if the glass is hot enough, it may also, in a way of speaking, get burnt or even die. That is what happens. Now I will tell you, that is to say, this is the state of Savikalpa Samadhi, but there is still a barrier, there is still some kind of thin duality, but still duality is there. Now I will unravel to you what happens. And then he entered into final stage. Of course he could not speak. And when he came back, then I will tell you this time, again he merged, again and again he tried. Then a very funny statement he makes, I want to tell you everything, but my mother is not allowing me to tell you. And Swami Sharadananda funnily remarks that this man is a good man, he is trying to tell us, and his mother must be very wicked mother. He is shutting his mouth, that means she doesn't want him to tell us. Did we at that time understand that Sri Ramakrishna was attempting to do the impossible? So it cannot be told. We will discuss further these beautiful thoughts in our next class. Even further, Brahman can never be expressed completely, but partially, yes, it is possible. Om Jananim Sharadam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapadme Tayo Sritva Pranamami Muhurmuhu. May Ramakrishna Holy Mother and Swami Vivekananda bless us all with bhakti. Jai Ramakrishna.